Hello and welcome to Runkle and the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. Like many other people, I've been watching the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, and there's a whole lot we can learn from this trial because there's a whole lot of interesting issues that this trial has really brought to the forefront. One thing that's happening right now is Amber Heard is in the middle of testimony. They're on a break, but some very serious credibility issues have been, at least in my opinion, coming up with her testimony. And I want to point to one specific moment because I think this might be a moment that happens because Amber Heard may have told a different story to her lawyers than she told in court. Now, when I first saw this, I was pretty certain that was what happened. But on rewatching it, there's another possibility that I can't exclude, which is that this might be bad lawyering. It might be her lawyers trying to do something that they really shouldn't be trying to do here. So I want to show you this clip and go through it and discuss it with you because I think this is pretty fascinating and offers a little bit of an interesting vantage into the court process here. So this is talking about a mirror that was written on.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, that's one of the bathroom mirrors.
Okay. And if you could just look to the left, and I'm going to go ahead and circle it over here. You see red and black there. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. And there were some questions that were asked earlier about that red. What, if anything, did you write on this mirror?
I didn't write anything on the mirrors. I was as confused as anyone in hearing that testimony.
Now, this is important because Johnny Depp had testified that she wrote the part that was in red. So that's the discrepancy. That's the thing that they're trying to get here. And they're trying to show that Johnny Depp might have been dishonest about this by exploring this issue. That's where they're trying to go with this.
And based on looking at this area that I have circled, is the black on top or underneath the red?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation, leading.
Now, the two objections there, leading, and I could do an entire video on this, and I probably will, but leading means that she's suggesting an answer to the witness. And leading is kind of a complicated issue. It really deserves its own video, but that's the objection, or one of the objections. The other one is calls for speculation in the sense of, how would she know this? And we'll talk about that a little further.
I sustain the objection.
Now, there was that little bit of a cut there. That's because they actually took a break in between those sections in the courtroom, but I cut that out because we really don't need 45 minutes of a clock.
Amber, we were talking about this right before the break. It still has my highlight. Which color is underneath the other?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Based on your perception, which color is
I'll
underneath?
sustain the objection.
So which color is underneath the other? Now, how would she know that unless she wrote one of the colors? And, if you wrote one of the colors, you could, of course, say, I wrote the red when there was no black, and so it's underneath. Or I wrote the red over top of the black so that it's, over top. But otherwise, it's just purely what could have happened. And that's why there's that speculation aspect. Now, what the lawyer's trying to argue is that she can just see what's going on and that she can testify to it. But of course, that's its own problem. And I'm going to explain a little bit further why I think that would have been improper for the court to allow it. I think that's properly a matter for expert evidence. But let's carry on here.
All right, let's do this. Let's bring up Defendant's 375, which is already into evidence. Amber, I'm going to ask you to take a look. This is the picture that we saw earlier. And do you see the area that's written in red here?
Yes.
Okay. What, if anything, did you have to do with the writing of that red?
Nothing.
Do you?
Did you hear that hesitation? Let's just go back a little bit here. The lawyer sounds surprised by the answer.
Nothing.
Do you, before this trial, did you know who Carly Simon was?
There's that little stammer there, right?
I might have heard her music, but no, I didn't.
Okay. Did you know what songs Carly Simon wrote or sang?
No, you had to tell me.
Thank you. All right. And then if you can just remember this picture, again, the red area there that I've circled, and then I'm going to ask Michelle to take this one down and put 1830 back up. And I'm going to ask you to take a look at this. What, if anything, did you do to this mirror with respect to the black or the red?
I didn't touch it.
So she's saying that she had no involvement in the mirror, but there's that little bit of hesitation there. And the argument, I'll tell you what the lawyer here is trying to establish. So I've brought the image up again and I've zoomed it in just so that we can see what I'm talking about here. There's two possibilities. One, that Amber Heard's lawyer expected her to be able to testify as to when these markings were made. That's possibility one, and if so, that would indicate that Amber Heard had told her lawyers something different than what she said in court. However, the second possibility is looking more likely to me, and that is that she was trying to establish a chronology with this. So if you see those red and black marks, the argument that she's trying to make, I think, is that you see the black mark going over the red, and so the notion then would be that the red happened before the black, and it couldn't possibly have been Amber Heard making that, and therefore Johnny Depp must be lying about this, which, if she can establish that, would be a pretty strong coup. However, I don't think she can do it with this for a couple of reasons. First, Amber Heard can't testify about the order because she says she didn't write any of these things. She wasn't there for it being written, so she'd just have to guess. And the other notion is that we can infer this from just looking at the image, and she wants to get Amber Heard to do that. But Amber Heard's not an expert witness, and I'm going to suggest that we can't actually get there from this picture. Two reasons. One, if you look at the picture, you see at the A in Carly and the L's in Call that the red actually seems to overlap the black a little bit. But the other thing is that this is going to get a little bit sort of semi-technical, I guess. When you're writing on the glass and you smear something across it, be it Sharpie or lipstick or a Grumpy or whatever they decide to write with on their mirrors, and, I guess the rich have different hobbies than we do, but whatever it is you mark on the mirror with, suddenly you've now applied a coating to that glass. And so the next thing you write on it with, you're no longer just writing on glass, you're also potentially writing over a coating. And that coating may or may not take take the next layer of writing in ways that are unexpected. So for example, if I am painting a canvas and the first thing I spray it with is a hydrophobic coating, then I try to go over it with a watercolor paint. That watercolor isn't going to stick in the places where I put that hydrophobic coating. What this means is that this question of what it would look like if you wrote first with the red and then second with the black, or the other way around, is actually potentially a highly technical question about the chemical and physical properties of these substances. This is subject matter that is properly something for an expert witness. Ideally, an expert witness who has identified which compounds are at issue here, like what was actually used to write on this, and then evaluated it from there. Because I don't know what that black is. It might be Sharpie, but it might be something like, for instance, a wax pencil. And a wax pencil would do a very good job at preventing future coatings from sticking to it. I can't say for certain, but as I said, there's a possibility here that Amber Heard may have in some way fooled her lawyers with what she was going to say and then surprised them by saying something different on the stand. If that's the case, then I will say that that Amber Heard's lawyers reacted very well on their feet. I'm thinking, the more I think about it, the more likely scenario is that the lawyer was trying to get in some evidence. in a way that she just can't, and in a way that's improper by having a witness who has no business testifying about this to try to put this in front of a jury. In that case, I will absolutely commend the defense counsel for vigorous objections. They missed that one of the objections should have been calls for expert testimony, but I mean, they got the job done, so I can't complain too much. Anyway, I just wanted to share that little moment with you. I'm thinking of doing another video on the leading objection, because there was a lot of leading questions in that, and just to explain what it means for a question to be leading, why that's a problem, when you can lead a witness, that sort of thing. I also may do something just talking about the various issues I find with her credibility, because there's lots of them. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the cross-examination on this one. I've got a whole bunch of stuff sort of in the queue that I want to talk about, but anyway, I'll cut it off here. Thank you for watching. I also want to thank you for, please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to see more content. I want to thank my Patreon supporters at the $50 level, Canada's National Firearms Association, the CCFR, and the Canadian Shooting Sports Association. At the $30 level, Sights and Arms Limited and Marc-Olivier Damour. And at the $20 level, Mark, Jane Babe and Luxor, Haywire, Dale Nesbitt, Cameron Johnson, Bruno R., Andrew Elsich, The Liquor, and I also want to thank everyone at the $10 level who will be in the crawl immediately following. Thank you for watching. I hope this has armed you with knowledge. See you next time.